True Believers thing. Am I early? Hey, I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome to the party, pal. They're turning my car into Swiss cheese. And hello, we get a face reveal.
Yeah.
All righty. With a not as bald a head, but a much more illustrious beard than I could ever grow.
Just no crotch shots. That's all I ask.
There you go. Yeah.
Don't worry about that.
We don't need that going on again. Anywho, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as Disney will not say anymore, we are talking about the best and worst of what has happened in comics and the best and worst comics that we have read of 2023. And I, broken my glasses this year and have not yet been able to get a new one. So I taped them up, but then I went and got glue, put into the tape, so now it's not wobbling everywhere. And then I put them on, and just a second ago ripped many hairs out of my head that I cannot afford. So anywho, it's gonna be.
I think we're saying you snapped it. It's like,
yeah.
Well, I guess that was a waste of time.
Yikes! Yeah, it was just like that. So anywho,
the experience of 2024 says
we're going to be talking about all sorts of stuff. You guys, if you hear something, if you think of something that happened in 2023 that we need to cover, if it was a book, if it was just business itself or whatever, by all means, let us know. I'm sure we have an opinion, probably gave it. Hey, Matt, what's up? What is it? Looks like I owe you I caught you alive.
And if you watch me over on a Geeky Puppet Show do this, I'm probably going to have some of the same answers.
Probably so, but there is a lot that happened in comics. We got the, what was it? The whole hashtag, I ain't making money in comics. Wasn't that a hashtag for a bit? The one thing that really stands out, and I can't really wait. I do not like this thing that StreamYard is doing, by the way. I like my blemishes. Thank you very much.
Well,
but
yeah. For anybody's wondering, there's a new AI program on StreamYard. It's supposed to like fix you, but like it doesn't give you hair.
It doesn't give you hair, but I like my bread blotches and all that kind of stuff. What are you talking about? Yeah, Eric Breen is talking about how comics broke him, and I got to tell you so. One of the things I was hesitant about doing a 2023 review in comics is, for being a guy with a comic book channel, I haven't read very many good comics. I've done bad comic beatdowns. I can't tell you too much about what's good out there.
You should start watching the Geeky Puppet Show on Thursdays.
No. Oh my gosh, those guys are weird. But
I know they talk about comics that they like.
So I do have a few new comics that I could throw in as well, but I'm going to talk about the books that I read because this is what I was reading. So so I've got I found 10 that I finished that I could actually talk about, and I've got a couple that'll prove to you why there was only 10. But it was I did talk about some bad comics. I did do some reviews, so there is something to talk about as well. Eric, get in here, talk some old comic books with me, man. Seriously.
How do you read this whole entire thick book?
The way you read an entire thick book is to read one page at a time, and eventually you get to the end of it. This one actually took me about a year and a half.
It's bathroom reading
to finish. Yeah. Say again?
It's bathroom reading.
Yes. It fits. It's like one entry works. So anywho, we had hashtag comics broke me, where you just have people going, hey, look, we're not making enough money. But this is not something new. This was something that we were talking about in years past, where, come on, we understand the reason why these people who are complaining about comics breaking them have a job is because Marvel and DC aren't paying enough. They can't afford a Chuck Dixon or anybody.
I think they can. They choose not to.
They don't want to afford.
Not to.
Yeah. They honestly could pay. They could pay Chuck Dixon what he's worth, but they don't think he's worth it though.
You don't think Jeff Johns was expensive? Probably Peter J. Tomasi was expensive.
Jeff Johns,
they ran those.
I bet you Jeff Johns. Go ahead.
I said, well, they ran them off. They had Tomasi and Johns, two greats, and they ran them both off. and Ivan Reyes. If you want to go for
Ivan
an artist.
Reyes, well, yeah, Frank Quiley was kind of dipping out. But I mean, it's right, not just artists, but I mean, just writers in general. Writers, Jeff Johns, I bet you they probably paid him quite a few pennies. But like I said, they have different ideas.
Yep.
And we probably found out he makes more money probably doing Junkyard Joe and other stuff.
Oh, I'm sure. But the thing is that Tomasi should have had Jim Lee's job.
I also want,
my opinion.
I also wonder how much of a headache it is to argue with editorial near Jeff Johns.
Yeah, especially when you don't have Jim Lee on your side. Jim's just like whatever or whatever.
Jim's like, hey guys,
let's be best friends. Let's go get some lunch. Yeah.
He just goes out, does occasional book signing, and then that's it. That's the amount he has.
He's making easy money. Yeah.
Right. But like I said, there was a few books coming out from DC that were good. Marvel had at least the throwbacks, and then like their Moon Knight was consistently good.
Okay, do you want to start off then moving away from hashtag they should have paid me a lot more than I'm worth to your first best comic?
Okay, my first best comic. This would also be my worst comic.
Really?
Because when they switch writers,
it's the bottom of your list.
No.
How many? I've got like 5 or 6. You don't have a list of like 90, do you?
I have a list about 20 to choose from if I want to.
Cut down to 5. I got to pick up my wife and hit 10:30.
My favorite comic of the year for me was The Flash, Jeremy Adams.
Jeremy Adams, the Barry Allen Flash or the Golden Age Flash?
No, Jeremy Adams and Wally West.
Yeah.
Josh Williamson did 2 years ago.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Like I said, I cut out of new books. I
can tell, sir.
Yeah.
So
we've talked about that a lot, though, especially VENKMAN and ZACK. They have, rightfully so.
And
it's awesome.
Like I said, that was a comic that was doing phenomenal. They decided to kick him off, put Cy Spurrier on there. So now the title's shit. But Jeremy Adams goes on to do his Green Lantern and proves that this guy, no matter what character he writes, he is a great writer.
He is.
He's writing Jake Garrick 2, the version 2. It's a little mini series. This guy needs to have, of all cases, needs to be protected.
They're probably going to run him off too, and Venditti.
Well, Venditti already has his foot out the door. He was writing a book for Dark Horse.
Yeah,
which sucked. Only because he co-wrote it.
Well, he just did a tweet yesterday saying that there's big plans for him at DC with Superman and so I guess something else.
Well, we need another digital Superman book because they don't want him on the physical print.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. They should have given him the main Superman titles after.
They gave it to Bendis. Yeah, remember Bendis had it, and they said, "Nope, Venditti, you can write Man of Tomorrow, but it has to be digital only."
Yeah, they have no idea what they're doing. They know
what they're doing, and then it's all about virtue. So they'd rather not make money. If they're smart, and they hate Trump for this because Trump's all about making money. If the country's doing shitty, he's not making money. So he's gonna prop up, and DC needs to do things. Same with Marvel, need to prop up their business by employing writers who actually can write. Lose the agenda crap,
right?
And
because Venditti's a middle-aged white man, so he had all that going against him. That shouldn't matter. No.
Yeah, but like I said, there are so good comic books that come through there. Marvel and DC are not dead; they're dying.
Yeah, they're dying.
But they're just like we're dying every day.
Right.
Yeah, but they're hardcore alcoholics dying is what they're doing.
Well, how about you? What do you have, Jay? What's a book that you can
So are we not going to do our top 10, or are we just going to
just casual conversation? Let's
Okay, cool.
Because I'm going to throw in topics and such in the middle of all this as well.
Sure. Well, I'm gonna go and then clump these together. The Energon universe from Skybound, which is the Hasbro properties, Transformers, and G.I. Joe. And Transformers by Daniel Warren Johnson is just fan-freaking-tastic. The art's fantastic. The stories, the writing's fantastic. Everything about the pacing Everything about it is fast and furious. And Joshua Williamson's Duke, which just came out last week, very solid start to that. Very solid. And of course, Kirkman's writing Void Rivals, and that's on hiatus right now. And that wasn't going to light the world on fire from an original standpoint, but a very solid, tried and true style. And it worked. And but what he did brilliantly with that is he was able to throw in some G1 cartoon character canon characters from that old canon, which for some reason IDW and Dreamwave they avoided those, like the Quintessons and some others. And Kirkman wrote them in brilliantly in Void Rivals and made it work.
Kirk's been slowly turning Void Rivals kind of into like The Walking Dead, in the sense where he broke the top 10 books.
Yeah. I still think Transformers outsold Void Rivals. I don't know that for a fact.
We don't know when that was taken, survey was taken, you know?
Sure.
That's the thing. But
well, I'm thinking, okay, because I just realized that, even though we're keeping it casual, I probably will go in order. So if you do that, Jay, if you do that, I get it. We've got 5. If we're doing 5, I guess I would put this as my number 5 right here. It's called Slash 'Em All. It's a graphic novel. And it's all about a serial killer coming to a small port side or town. It's or coastal town, and how it affects and how everybody, the citizens have always struggled. It's kind of a rough neighborhood. Drugs and such are prevalent all throughout, and people are kind of in their peripheral seeing this guy, which you see with a baseball bat, walking around the town, and it's done very well. It's mostly visual. There's not a lot of dialogue in there. It works. It's good visual storytelling throughout. I was kind of surprised at this one. I don't know why I picked it up. I mean, other than Slash them all, yet the guy's carrying a baseball bat. I thought there might be some silliness to it, but it ended up actually being pretty damn good. So, my number 5 would be that. And I'm sure I'm getting a whole bunch of never heard of it.
Who published it?
I don't know. I don't remember. Sorry, guys. I just hold on. Let me see, because I just looked it up to find this. So I know it's here somewheres, but Slash 'Em All. It is by
Fantagraphic.
There, Fantagraphics, yes. But yeah, absolutely damn worth the money, man. Seriously. Not that I paid for it, but it's damn worth the money.
It came out in 2022.
22? Oh, well, it got on my radar in 2023. I'm going to be talking about a lot of books that aren't 2023. So
it's okay.
You go. Me too.
Yeah, I did read it at the beginning of the year. So that might have been.
It might have been the case that it was loose. Maybe they did floppies first and then they collected into graphic novel like you have there.
Could have been, or just maybe it was a Kickstarter that came. All I know is I read it in 2023, and now I'm passing on the knowledge to you. It is damn worth reading.
Well,
hell, I'll tell you what. In 2018, I did a review of a comic called Meth the Pig. That was awesome.
Wait.
Pig on meth?
No. Actually, it was a pig on Christ.
Oh, that was Hunter Biden.
No, you're right. It's about this pig who went to the mount after the body of Jesus Christ was removed from the cross, and he was sniffing around. He smelled the blood, and he ate the blood of Christ, and it caused the pig to be immortal. Uh-oh. And it is a really freaking good story. It's like,
that sounds like a horror story.
First of all, how did you think of this idea? Like, what if a pig walked up to the mountain and started licking up the blood of Christ after they would remove him? Because there's got to be a whole puddle at the bottom with what they did to him. But that turned out good. But yeah, my number 5 for 2023 is a 2022 book called Slash 'Em All. But I'm going to continue here. I'm going to take it's my channel privilege here and go. Sure. My number 10. Or whatever number this is, book that I did read this year was Wonder Woman, The War Years. And this is a collection of the Golden Age stories where Wonder Woman actually went after Hitler and Himmler and all. You know, she fought the war for us. And it has some text in here as well explaining the dates, the sections, why certain things were done, and everything. It is a lot of fun. It really is. These are not going to break your brain trying to figure shit out. It's Golden Age, you know. So it is a lot of what I call Golden Age goofiness. For the first few appearances of Wonder Woman, a lot of it is, oh my gosh, I can't believe a woman is doing that. You know, that kind of thing. We would definitely consider a lot of these stories woke today.
So I found the loophole. He put them best and worst in comics, not of 2020.
Ah, you saw it, right? Okay, that's right. I titled it that way for a reason.
Right.
But yeah, that's why I also said, guys, if you have any comic book topic you want us that happened over 2023, you want us to chat about, we've got you.
Right.
We got you, man. But okay, what would be your number 4 if we were actually, or do you have a number 5 worst?
Oh, number 5 worst. Well,
do you have a worst?
I don't read bad books because I don't watch bad television.
Jay, do you have a worst?
Yeah, it actually goes with one of my best too. Let me get to the best part first. All right, here, let me show you.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
We got Godzilla or Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong, and issue number 1 was fantastic. 2 and 3, and I just really wanted an excuse to do this.
Good Lord.
So
you got the sound effect somewhere because I know my copy doesn't do that.
Yeah.
All righty. Okay. That is kind of funny because that is on. That's one on my best.
Solid start. The first issue was great, but I don't know what you haven't read 2 and 3 yet, have you?
I have not.
I have, and I'm just curious, what made you hate it so much?
I didn't hate it. It just was flat, you know. And I had to throw a bad one in there.
I mean, if that's your worst,
you're having a good year.
Good comic year.
Yeah.
Good comic year.
If that's the worst comic you've read, you're doing pretty good there.
I was gonna say, if you read the current Valiant books, those would be your worst.
No, I have not read those.
after you've read the good Valiant comics, if you read modern, it'll piss you off more.
Well, actually, I just come up with it, and it's my number 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 of worst. And it is Amazing Spider-Man. That's horrendous. No matter who, it is just the point where Peter is useless. He took away his girlfriend. He's now a joke. It's pretty much the same thing they've been doing for the past, since after One More Day. He is, now that it seems like they hate him. I mean, if you're going to replace him with Miles, do it already. I mean, like, he's already dead. Just put him out of his misery. But my number 4 for best of the year, at least that I enjoyed. I gotta say it's gonna be let's see here. Let's go to some of the indie books. Number 4 for this year is gonna be Local Man by Tim Seeley and Tony Fleeks.
Local Man.
It is a flip book, based off 90s Image characters. And it's about a guy basically who gets kicked off a superhero team, and he's a disgraced superhero, ex-superhero, and he's trying to solve a local murder that's been happening in his state. Everyone hates him. He's forced to put on a ski mask, and he saves somebody. So in the paper, he's called Local Man. Nobody knows who he is except for a few people. And it's crude. It's fun. It's basically what Marvel Manufactured had to do with Hawkeye, making him a joke in that Manufactured book. But it works better on someone who doesn't have established being awesome. Like, this is a brand new character, so it actually works, that plot. But I'm enjoying it, and it's a flip book. So Tony Fleeks and Tim Seeley take turns writing. It's like a Grindhouse production. When you do the flip book, there's a backup story by Tony Fleeks. And it's Tim Seeley not having TDS. I like it.
I know sometimes when it might be like the Erica Henderson effect. get her away from Marvel where she's doing Squirrel Girl and she actually can draw. You know, maybe it's that way. Just get them away from Marvel and DC where they think they have a voice. They actually put something in. And it might just be that they want to do, they want to take care of their characters. They don't give a fuck about what's going on in Marvel DC, so they don't mess it up with all that.
It's weird. I mean, some of them are like that messed up in the head. Some are actually, and I think other ones have to form to that ideology, because otherwise they're afraid of losing their job. So they try to fit in. You know,
all right.
It's because the Whisper Network.
Well, I haven't uploaded a worst yet. What will be my number 5 worst? I haven't uploaded those yet, so I'll go on to my number 4 best. And it's another one that I'm probably going to get a lot of. What? They're waving to you. You're jumping in. Just say hi.
Just kind of peeking her head in the corner. I'm like,
she likes to see herself on camera. The World. What's your name? Kumquat. The World.
Might want to squash that.
My name is not Kumquat.
Your name is not Kumquat?
No, it is not.
It's what, Navel Orange?
No.
I know it's a fruit name.
No, it starts with an I.
It starts with a not rutabaga.
No.
I was just going to say rutabaga.
There you go. All right. But anywho.
Raspberry.
Yeah, Raspberry. Your name's Raspberry.
No.
Okay. All righty. And now Roadkill?
Radish?
No.
Is it Roadkill?
No.
Your
Radish?
name's Roadkill.
No.
Is it Radish?
No.
Yeah, okay. All right. Anyway, my next one up is a book called The Haunted Girl. It's about by, I guess, Ethan Sachs, Naomi Sachs. You did?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I like this one. It's about this girl. She tried to commit suicide. She's getting back into the world, and she has troubles because she's actually seeing things. And it's the whole question of, is this actually in her head? Is it the depression, or is it real and such like that? And it's very good. It kind of reminded me of the movie The Babadook. So yeah.
So I read into this, and Ethan Sachs' daughter did try doing this, suicide. So it's kind of it's him and his daughter writing together.
Oh wow. Okay, that's the Naomi, I guess there. But yeah, very good book. Very good story.
Better than Naomi.
There you go. But yeah, is that cutie's name is Rose? Your name's Rose?
No, Rory.
No, actually, you are. Her name is Rory.
Rory.
Rona have that book at home.
Rona has this book.
Yeah.
Rona has the Haunted Girl.
Yes.
Okay.
Rory or the W?
Rory. Right.
Well, she has a speech impediment. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we all do, but
Yeah.
Right. But that is hers. But yeah, it's Rory. Her mom is one of those that named all the kids with the same starting letter R. I have
2 R's.
I thought it was rambunctious.
That would fit. But okay, my number. This is number 9, right? And I don't know what number I'm on. I'm just gonna keep going. But also something I read this year because I found it at Ollie's.
That'd be a 3 because you just did 4.
What?
You just skipped. You did it 4 now.
Oh no. This is number 9 for the books that I read.
Oh, you're doing trades. Yeah. It's confusing because you go.
Yeah. I picked this up at Ollie's. To reread. I've always wanted the whole thing, and it still holds up. I gotta say, look, this is a very superficial book. You're not going to get a deep story out of this. It's Superman mad, he gonna kill. That is the story, and I think it works. It's a very, very deep game, very deep story for a video game. It's a very superficial but fun story for a book. But there you go. My number 9 book I actually read, and once again, I'm going to show you soon why I only read 10 graphic novels this year. But there you go. Okay, that's if you haven't read it, check it out. If you have read it, give it a try. You might find out it does hold up.
Well,
it is a lot of fun.
The only plot hole with that, or like I say, is that I'll say it's like, gee, you sound a lot like Zod, who he hates.
Yeah, but that's in volume 2. Alrighty, and let me put that back on the
Did
shelf.
it have it in volumes? Okay, I never read it. I played the games and I watched the movie, and then I got the lousy T-shirt.
Right. I want for volume 2, I think it was, there's a Wonder Woman Batman statue I kind of want. Okay, let's get some of these here. We've got my number 5 says Jim is Cinderella versus the Queen of Hearts. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. That sucked. That book is so horrible. Yes. That's not on my list, but had I remembered it, it would be. It is so bad. You are absolutely on point there, Jim.
Well, that whole character is only great when she's in another character's book. When she's by herself, yeah. For Xenoscope, for whatever reason, she ends up being Deadpool or Harley Quinn.
Yeah,
and it's current Harley Quinn, not the good one from the animated series.
So Undead Quinn is saying his number 5 is Somna, and number 4 is Astrobats. Mata is saying hi, Twiddles. Hello, Twiddles. And Jim is saying number 4 best, Sergeant Rock in the Army of the Dead. You and I both have read this book.
I enjoyed it.
I thought it was very much like Injustice. It was very much a superficial action book. It works on that level, but it's not deep. And if I'm only doing 5 or 6, I've got 5 or 6 better. But
it's Spacey, Sergeant Rock, and like you said, you're putting him into a zombie verse. You're kind of like that, or
it was written by.
It wasn't going to be serious. There was some humor in it, but like people are expecting Army of Darkness. Well, Army of Darkness is kind of cringe in some of the stories too.
Yeah, yeah,
so,
but it's fun, and that's what it's there for. It's just fun.
It's not a masterpiece. Yeah. It's not a Warren Ellis thing.
Undead Quinn is saying my number 5 worst is Catwoman number 39, and number 4 is Harley Quinn number 1. I have not read either one of those.
Whenever Ram V left
9:30,
that's when it went bad. I don't know what issue it was, but Harley Quinn number 1, Stephanie, some of the Stephanie Phillips one. I thought that was last year.
Yeah. Hey, I did a graphic novel. He can do the other one. So what do you have? What is your? I guess we're up to number 3, right?
Well, let Jay go.
Okay, Jay.
And this is on good, right? The good list, right?
Whatever list you have.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going on.
Okay, well, this is roughly my number 3.
I'm going to hit worse later.
Predator versus Wolverine. A lot of fun. Gets right into the action. Doesn't mess around. Not the build-up's actually part of the action if you want to get to it. But yeah, this book's just a lot of fun all around.
I'm glad to hear that. I wanted to try it, and I've got it in the archive waiting for me to read it. So it is pretty good.
Jay is the reason why I bought it. I can back it up. It is fun.
All right, cool.
Benjamin Percy, I've never read his stuff before. Ben Percy, who I've never read his stuff before, he does a really good job here. And Ken Lashley's art, and this first time I've experienced art, is fantastic.
I saw the price was like $7, $6.99, and I'm like, wait, it's got that Fox Century logo, and I'm like, ooh, I saw the Alien one. It was not that great. I'm like,
oh, really? You didn't like the? I didn't like the first Marvel Alien. I liked the second one they put out.
There was more than. Yeah, I only saw one series.
Yeah, well, there was more than one. I cut out after the first. I'm done. Alien with that little Dark Horse logo, good. Alien with the Marvel logo, bad.
I'm talking about the one of them. Was it last year? I think it was, or this year.
You did okay. So we are talking about the same one. I just liked it.
Yeah. And where the kids sneak out board or something, and they release the aliens.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, I don't want to watch. Was it Texas Chainsaw Massacre / version of Aliens, where the kids are like, we know we're activists, blah blah blah, and they die.
Oh, so by the way, I misunderstood Jim. Cinderella versus Queen of Hearts was one of his favorite.
Uh-oh.
Whoops. By the way, this reminds me of a video. I do commissions on Ko-Fi. Not a lot of people are doing because I fucked up the first time. I really fucked up. It took forever to finish them. But I do commission videos if y'all want to. Somebody commissioned, I think it was FRAGMINION, commissioned me doing a Really That Good about Lobo versus the Demon. And so I read it. Not the biggest fan, so I tore it apart. And he goes, "That wasn't what I wanted." I was like, "I'm so sorry, dude."
I'm glad
I can only be honest, but
right.
I'm glad that Jim enjoyed it. It's just a book that I just couldn't get into.
Yeah, that's the way it goes sometimes, right?
But she recently just popped up in the latest Bell issue, and she was annoying in there, and it was pretty much Spider-Man with Deadpool. That's what the story felt like, and I like that. But when it's just one annoying character and that's it, and she's supposed to be like the main character, it's like to me, it's like reading Deadpool.
I'm not a big fan of Harley or Deadpool these days, but
no, and
I'll tell you what, I there was a period like during the Rebirth, I actually liked Harley Quinn.
Suicide Squad.
But yeah, they kind of destroyed that. Jim saying number 3 is best Night Terrors. What do you have for number 3? Oh, best, one of his number 3 best is Night Terrors Zatanna. I didn't read Night Terrors. What do you have, Jay, for your number 3 best?
My number 3 best?
Yep.
I would have to go with, I'm going to get this down here, okay. Geiger and Junkyard Joe. I'll have them go even up. Even though Geiger finished up in 22, Junkyard Joe did go over into 23. And it's, this is basically the kickoff of the Ghost Machine universe. Right, Venkman? This is part of Ghost Machine?
Yep.
Can you? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, both of these are Jeff Johns and Gary Frank. The end. That's all that needs to be said. And it's fantastic. And Venkman and Zach really, they're the ones that got me to start reading these. And they raved so much about how Junkyard Joe had so much heart, and it does. It has a lot of heart. You're going to believe this robot really, it's like a person. Like a little brother or something. So
we were talking about this the other night. Junkyard Joe is kind of like they took the GI robot and gave him a soul.
Yeah, absolutely. And Geiger is just an awesome premise. It's about Venkman, you probably explain it a little bit better than I could.
Guy apparently had cancer, and but basically 60 miniseries they did in 2022. About a guy who ends up, he becoming radiated after the World War III happens. Everyone's nuked, and there's survivors scattered everywhere. This guy is called the Glowing Man. Everyone's scared of this guy. He's a guy basically has controls. He has 2 isotopic, or I guess graphite rods that control his radiation. Otherwise, he just keeps blowing up like Nuclear Man, like Nuke.
Right.
And so he just wants to get to his family, which are in a bunker. That they were, that he built, and he's just trying to protect them, and with people trying to kill him. Right,
and they let you know firsthand that they have provisions that could last them for, what do they say, like 50 or 60 years? Something. It was a long time. Like he set up the provisions for them, but I don't want to give any more away. Yes. But the world that the post-apocalyptic world they live in is very similar to the Fallout games by Bethesda. If you've ever played.
Yeah. Geiger was the launch of the Mad Ghost Productions, and Junkyard Joe appears in one of the final issues of the first volume, and then Junkyard Joe is a prequel to that. It's an origin story for Joe. And it goes 362, and Junkyard Joe is coming back in an new ongoing this year at Dark Horse. Image, not Dark Horse.
Image, yeah, I can't. Yeah, Ghost Machine, Ghost Machine. I can. That is going to be so good. So,
all right,
you can take it off now.
Okay. Let's see. We have I saw Undead Quinn say that his number 3 worst is Nemesis Reloaded, and I'm going to go through my worst after. I know they don't have a lot of worst, but I've got 7. Let's see.
Tom King.
Tom Taylor.
Tim Sheridan.
Anybody starting with a T sucks. Okay.
Yeah.
T. Howard.
Let's see. The best is number 3, Fish Flies. Never read that one. Let's see what we got here. My number 3 best of comics here, or 5, 4. It would be 3, and I do have to admit, that's supposed to be an overlay. There you go.
That is.
Yeah, it is. Okay, I do admit I only read that first issue, but I got to tell you, I really like that first issue. So for a guy who didn't read a lot of new books, this really kind of thrilled me. I like this one.
Well, it's fun. It is fun.
Yeah.
So far, I'm liking it better than Deceased.
Really? That's big praise. You and I were on the Deceased train.
Well, I like Deceased ended the last one they did, the Gods thing. Never should have done that. He was fine with his, and he kind of just shit the bed with it. I didn't like the last Deceased, but no, it's been fun. It's, like you said, it's straight up super fans, and it's like I said, in the second, third issues. I'm just gonna say this: it's old school Justice League where they pair out, go up in pairs to fight the different monsters.
Now,
sorry, had to.
As far as the graphic novels that I read, which I really kind of focused on back issues, like I just for Christmas, I picked up this one. I didn't read the entire graphic novel. But I picked up this. I bought it off the shelf. I really am pissed my daughters let the guinea pigs go at it. But one of the stories was a Christmas story that appears in that one book I wanted. But I kind of kept that stuff out. But I do count these two as one. And it was Captain America, the classic years. And this is reprinting basically like 1 through 15 or something like one, but it is absolutely fun stories. It's entire golden age issues of Captain America. These things are a lot of fun. They just hold up. Once again, maybe this is my thing this year. It's superficial. It's got all the Silver Age silliness. I actually did a history of comics kind of video where we went through Captain America #2. I think we actually did a reading. That's where Captain America cross-dressed in order to beat Hitler. He does. He dresses up like a grandmother, and he puts Bucky into one of those sailor suits and Lord Fauntleroy with a wig and everything in order to beat Hitler. But the history of this, I might have made the video and never actually posted it. I got to check that out because I've done that a lot. The history of it was the whole thing we see in the beginning. Everybody says Captain America punched out Hitler. You see it right there on the cover. Do you know where you don't see it? Anywhere in the pages of Captain America.
Really?
He never punched.
Wait, I got a question. Why is he copying America Chavez?
I know, right? But they do actually meet Hitler and Himmler. And guess who knocks out Hitler?
Himmler?
Hitler.
Oh, Bucky does?
Bucky, not Captain America. I'll make a video on it or so. But the truth is I've read the Golden Age Captain Americas. Captain America never fucking punched out Hitler. Bucky did. Period. Done. Mic drop. Boom. I wouldn't actually because this cost $100. But you get it. Okay. So all those fucking dumbass, liberals, they punch out Hitler, so you're bad because you voted for Trump. No, sorry guys, you're starting off on a wrong premise. He never fucking punched Hitler. All right, but there you go. That's my I think that was number 8.
What's up, Cat?
How you doing, much. Black Cat? Or
not much.
Eric Green's cat? Okay.
Yeah.
All righty. Let's get to number 2 on the best. I've actually got more to talk about than you guys do.
Let me get to my number 3.
Okay, to get to your number 3, dude.
Yeah.
My number 3 this year is Blade by Brian Edward Hill. That has just been a fun, basically callback to basically Blade being before he had a stupid daughter that was forced upon him. Back before they neutered him. This is it's basically the version we had with Wesley Snipes, and literally is just fun. Blade accidentally, is duped into releasing this powerful demon onto the earth, and now he basically has to try and kill this demon. He ends up meeting with an ex-girlfriend who is to procure arms in order to get something that could kill this demon. She ends up getting involved too. He kills his old Chinese vampire, with mind control stuff. It basically looked like the Big Trouble in Little China, that guy.
Yeah.
the bad guy, and he ends up
what is it, something Faye?
Yeah, and kills that. Gets Lucifer's sword. We get a Tomb of Dracula appearance in one of the recent issues. Dr. Strange even comes in and says, like, what the fuck did you do? Basically, he's like in Dr. Strange, like, no, it's like, I'll help you. It's like, no, Blade's like, no, I got this, bro. I'm gonna do this. I caused this, I'm gonna. He's like, because he's like, dude, because he's like, Blade, you're gonna die. You're half vampire, half human. You're gonna die, and you can't possibly wield Lucifer's blade sword because it's gonna corrupt you. He's like, no, I'm gonna go. He's basically, yeah. So he ends up getting trained by Dracula, guy he's hated all this time, just finally to basically get to learn how to adapt more with his vampiristic self. So it's been fun, and it's like I said, it's like it just literally feels like I'm watching Blade.
Well, yeah, if you enjoy it.
Yeah. So.
All right, Jay, how about you? What you got?
All right, well.
Oh, hold on. Black Cat, you want to add on anything that you read that you particularly cared for?
You're 5 through 3?
Yeah. 5 through 3. This year I've only read like 3 books.
There you go. All right. We'll start with your number 3 then.
Number 3 would be Blood Tree.
Which one?
Blood Tree.
Who wrote that and who drew it?
Peter Tomasi.
I
accidentally in the Geeky Puppet Show Best of Stream, I said Joshua Williamson wrote that. It was apparently Tomasi.
Yeah,
Okay,
Tomasi.
cool.
Yeah, Tomasi wrote that.
Yeah.
Are you trying to find it?
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now. Two obsessed NYPD detectives on a hunt for a vicious butcher called the Angel Killer. Sociopath who preys on innocent family members of people who basically have sinned and basically kills them and then stitches angel wings on them. Yeah.
Basically, he wants to cleanse the bloodline. So if any of their relatives committed a crime, he will kill all their children.
Yep.
Like if their parents or grandparents are criminals, he kills them. And so these 2 cops are going after him and trying to stop him. And we don't know that link that he's killing the children and descendants of these criminals, but the title actually gives it away, but they don't know it. And that's the mystery that they're trying to solve.
This is an Image book. It's Maximum Simic is the artist. Not the best art, but the story really carries it, and that's really good. It tells you how good Tomasi is.
Yeah.
He can take the worst art and still give you a book that you really like, dude, I want to read the next issue. At that point, I'm like, just give me get rid of the art and just give me the story. I can just read it that way.
He is the pros pro. A lot of people don't know. He's been in the industry for nearly 40 years, maybe right about it 40 years. The guy knows what he's doing, and it angers me that he goes under the radar and gets overlooked so much. But
if he's at Marvel, he'd be a Stormbreaker because like they does acknowledge people who've been there for 20 years, being new writers.
All right. Let's see what we got here. Boom. We have, think about this. They could have instead just done a Justice League game or an Arkham style Superman or Flash game or any of those. I don't know what that's for, but that's Rhaegar. The last deceased took too long. Let's see. We got Bucky punched him instead. Yep.
He was talking about the game. Speaking of not liking Harley Quinn, that new Suicide Squad kills the Justice League game looks and sounds.
Oh, okay. Hey, Eric, what's up?
Yeah, this game's going to take forever, so I figured I'd come on for a while.
I appreciate it. And I think being able to talk about some Captain America Golden Age must have been.
Eric, I want to welcome you to the channel. I think you're new here, right?
Well, and I have a couple things to show. So that's
nice.
It is comics, right? Because last time we got a 6-month penalty and couldn't stream.
Yeah, because I always show things other than comics.
Right. No, that's me. I've done more damage to this channel than anybody else.
It was only one punch.
By the way, yeah, our stream last night, every other freaking channel gets away with doing things where they're talking over movies and such. I talk over 1 minute worth of Superman and Lois footage. Actually, less than a minute, and I got freaking claimed.
Really?
Yeah.
Gosh.
It was that. It was Beef and another one, and I challenged them all, but we'll see how it goes.
You had a plate of beef and you got claimed on that?
Oh, Beef is such a great TV show. Anyway, what do you have to show off for us? What is some of the better comics you've read?
Oh, I was more along the lines of what you were showing.
Oh, by all means, let's see it.
Yeah, a couple
books.
Some stuff that's come out. Dark Horse, I believe it's Dark Horse, continues to pump out the EC reprints.
Oh, nice.
Oops, that's not what I wanted. Okay, there we go. So we can.
That's what we wanted.
There we go.
we wanted a big headshot of you.
Yes, we did. Always. The Haunted. Yeah, those. I really am. I want those.
Wow, we're down to 8 people watching. I don't know if that's such a
16 now though.
So this is I know that was pretty cool. Yeah, so any EC fan, it was interesting. I was watching one of Gratu's videos today, and he was talking about he got in an argument with Horror Mike because Horror Mike says EC isn't as good as the other stuff that was being done at the time.
Holy Toledo. Yeah, that's
and Ken kind of says it's sort of like, since the Beatles were the best and the most popular, it's cool to shit on them and say that the other like garage bands were better. But anyway, so this was there's been about 3 or 4 of these. Yeah, I've been getting them all, loving them. And it's something I might have showed this before, but the 2 volumes, 2 omnibus of Stan Lee and Steve Ditko of their non-superhero work. And just like 670 pages of 5-page stories, and you realize all the guys look like J. Jonah Jameson, Peter Parker, and Norman Osborn.
go back to that page at the yellow head. I think that's the first appearance of Dan Slott.
Yeah.
Right.
But there was these are fun. I mean, I'm almost 500 pages through volume 2. I take this to the public laundromat every 2 weeks when I do laundry, and it's
the warehouse had volume 2 for they never took it to 80% though. They always removed it, and I was flat freaking broke. Like 1 week they let it go, and I was flat broke, couldn't go back. Gone. So I missed out on it. All right, my number what were we on? Number 2 of the best is I took a chance on this one, man. And I'm very happy. Look, in the 90s, they did one for Lex Luthor. They did a Kingpin series. And then just a few years back, they did another Kingpin telling his origin. This time around, we got the Penguin. And I've enjoyed this. I know. It's
I read the first issue, and it kind of felt like he was writing Batman, where they're drowning.
Yeah, it worked for me. It actually worked. I like this. I like the story. Sometimes the man hits.
I can't.
And the thing is I think this one so far has been short enough that he's not picking it up so far. But it is basically the rise of the Penguin is the crime lord rather than, of course, the umbrella carrying, super criminal with all the gadgets and all. But
well, I'm a little surprised he wasn't inspired by the Gotham version of Penguin, who had huge mommy issues.
I still dug it. You're not, you know what? Nobody is ever going to convince me Gotham wasn't awesome.
No, Gotham was good. I love Gotham. I'm just saying that version of Penguin had mommy issues.
Yeah, he did. But I enjoyed that version of Kingpin.
Yeah.
Not Kingpin, of Penguin.
Man, yeah. I wonder how much he bitches just to get a Batman book since he's off the title.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, but
it seems like
not at all, because he got Batman, Catwoman.
That's right.
He's been getting steady bat work ever since.
Right?
Okay, where am I going on this? What is the? There it is. Oh, nope, that ain't the one. Hey, there we go. Okay, and just to continue. I guess this is number 7. I forgot what number I'm on as far as.
You go back to we had Solo, Eric, and Just the Stars. It's like Harry Carey.
Okay, my number 7 book off my shelf that I read this year is the Kree Skrull War. Why not? We were going to get the Kree Skrull War, or it's kind of, we were going to get the Secret Invasion. I thought, what the hell? Let's read it. I hadn't read it in decades. It is absolutely worth the read at least once.
When did that originally come out? In the 70s?
71.
Yep.
70?
But
Wow.
if you have not checked it out, it is awesome. And by the way, there's an entire forward in this trade paperback that explains the whole thing where 3 Cal shot me down, help me.
That looks like a
was going to be a great great opening for Vision on this whole quest. It's a classic. Eric and Eric has talked about how awesome this book is. It's just classic. It's got great art, great story.
Captain America in space.
Yeah, it is. It's just.
Do you mind if I add a little bit to that?
I'm pretty sure you could.
Let's say I don't need to be full screen for that, but
okay.
Too late.
No, that's the issue 93 might be my favorite individual issue of all time, because the first half of it is Hank Pym as Ant-Man going into the Vision's body to repair him.
Yeah, it's kind of the Fantastic.
And it's full of slang of the day and EC references. It's a black, and it just let Neil Adams just go nuts. That's worth it. The second half of the book is good, but it's not the strongest entry in the Kree Skrull War series. But the first half of that is fantastic. And a little story: Roy Thomas was the writer, and he was also the editor. And Neil Adams was, let's just say, deadlines weren't Neil's friend. And the reason why he didn't do the last issue of it, which was 97, was because it was getting down to the deadline. He hadn't produced any pages. Roy had been in contact, said, I'll get him. Didn't get him. Finally, he called John Buscema and said, I need you to do this. And as John was, getting it done, that's when Neil gave him some pages. And Roy said, Neil, I'm sorry, I had to move on. I believe they never worked again. I think they spoke to each other a couple times after that, and it was years before they did. But in case anybody's wondering why the hell the best artist of all time didn't do the last chapter, that's why.
Well, that makes sense.
And there's a little asterisk when he says they let Neil Adams go nuts. This was the good kind.
Yeah.
All right.
Everybody needs to at least read that.
Okay.
Half of the issue.
Are you on your number 1? What are we on as far as?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm on my 2.
Okay.
Go on.
2. Yeah, go on your number. You guys do your number 2s, and then then we'll touch upon the ones.
All right. Well, I'll let Jay go first. Age Before Beauty.
Well, yeah, okay.
With these,
but yeah, this was the book I started Sunshine Pumping back in the spring. I just inadvertently, Venkman is responsible for this too. I discovered League of Comic Book Geeks because of Venkman, and through League of Comic Book Geeks, I discovered Astrobots.
Oh, wrong one.
I discovered
Wow, this is really into yourself tonight.
Well, someone has to be.
And it's League of Comic Geeks, not Comic Book Geeks.
I said League of Comic Geeks. Or did I say Comic Book Geeks? Anyway, yeah.
You say comic book, yeah.
Either way.
Okay. League of Comic
Geeks.
Yeah, the League. And so, yeah, and this was a fantastic series. The art by Hector Cherinik, which is all watercolors, is just phenomenal. Simon Thurman, the writer, is arguably the greatest Transformers writer of all time. He was writing for Transformers way back in the 80s and 90s at Marvel, and then wrote for him at Dreamwave and IDW. Mm-hmm. And he took over this series, made it his own. There are natural similarities to the Transformers. We're talking about sentient robots here, but these guys don't transform, and they are roughly human-sized. They're not gigantic. And,
do they drive cars?
Do what?
Do they drive cars?
Yeah, actually they do. They have machines and stuff they drive around in. So
are they robots in disguise?
Robots in machines.
No disguise is going on. In fact, this world that they're on, it's set up to be a colony for Earth. In fact, and that's why they were created. They were created to go get these planets ready for humans in advance. But over time, they became more and more sentient, and of course, that included evil ones. And the one on the right there, Atlas, he wants to completely control the human race and control all the Astrobots. It's your classic good versus evil stuff, but it's really well done. I enjoyed the heck out of it. I even created a damn Twitter account, Sunshine Pumping.
Looks like Gears of War on that cover on the left.
It does kind of, doesn't it? Yeah. So.
All righty. Evil Black Cat. What do you have for your number 2?
For number 2, it is going to be. Does it have to come out in 2023, or is it just?
I did it 2022, and so did Jay.
All right. Yeah. In that case, it would be. I said this before, but it is one of the recommendations by our late friend Skip and Tosh, and it was The Many Deaths of Layla Starr.
All righty. And by the way, yes, the topic that happened this year is the group lost a friend.
Yeah, lost Curtis.
So, pour one out and rest in peace, Skip and Tosh. Don't actually pour it. You're indoors.
We're trying to be serious, and she's making the face back there.
I know. She's stepping in while I'm saying a friend of ours died, and you're like, hi. Yeah, it's not the right tone. Not the right tone.
I didn't know you said
Okay. Okay.
I have a black cat.
You have a black cat?
And it's named it Toes.
This one is EBC because this guy, his name is Eric, and this is Eric's evil black cat. So it's Eric's black cat.
I don't recall purchasing him or acquiring him in any way, shape, or form.
It's like you realize that animals that just adopt humans. That's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So Lila Star's one that we recommend. Venkman, what's your number 2?
I'm going with Superman number 1 through Joshua Williamson. The whole
Williamson
series has been a return to basically the great days of Superman, the post-crisis. It's just been fun. I can actually enjoy a Superman book. I don't have to worry about. You know, Eric, you should drink a whole case. I'm just going to drop a whole bunch of Chuck Dixon, 90s, all that great stuff. Throw it away. Just chug it.
You're like Steve Austin.
You forgot post-crisis.
I did say it. That's the first thing. That's why he was shaking his head. No, it's great to actually I can actually enjoy a Superman book. And it's about Superman. And it's not about all the extended family. Or about him being, I'm no longer Superman anymore. Or I'm Superman. I'm no longer Clark Kent. The whole Bendis thing just really just put a nail in the coffin.
Bendis DC. That is,
I did not care for New 52 or even before that when they decided to basically go away from the 30-year great run of Superman, which was post-crisis. So Bendis is like, yeah, I hate you all. All this just killed it. So like I said, it's great that I can actually pick a Superman book. I'm enjoying it. Jamal what's the game? Jamal something is doing the arts.
Yeah, I've got the variant covers for 1 and 2. I've been trying to sell.
Yeah, it's just been fun. I miss reading Superman, and hopefully I can get Spider-Man like that someday.
Yeah,
I can read up a Spider-Man book. It's new.
All righty. Eric, you got anything else?
I do. I'm going to show a couple things that
I
talked about. I believe Venkman's seen them. These things I picked up over the holidays. Boris Karloff thriller number 1.
That's number 1. Yeah.
I don't. This is in damn near perfect shape too.
That's holy crap.
Replace that Hitman book behind you and just put that there.
Yeah.
If you were a speculator, you'd be slabbing it.
Yeah. Like I said, I mentioned this. I said walking into that shop and it was basically, right up to this and the next one I'm going to show. And
all righty.
I said I don't even think about finding stuff like this anymore because it just doesn't happen until it does.
And you bought it for $40. Now it's
that was 65.
Okay. No,
this was 40.
Wow.
And the cover is detached, but you can't tell. You
can't tell on the backing board. That's why. I don't care about that. Yeah, I don't care about that because I hang them up. Yeah. Can't tell.
That cover describes all of us if we slowly see what's going on with the Marvel DC.
All righty. Okay, so my number two best. I never thought I would ever say these words. My number 2 is As Drawn by Riley Rosmo. And of course, that's the one I forget to do the I forget to get the picture on.
Is it Dream a Little Dream?
Stars fading right above you or something like
Tim
that.
Drake Robin.
Yeah, right. That's it. It is Wesley Dodd's The Sandman. This is one of those things where obviously, the writer is more important to me because Riley Rosmo, and it's actually not bad for Riley Rosmo art, but it is such a good story. I've been enjoying this. Highly recommend it. DC is not 100% gone. This is proof of it. Of course, when we get to the bad, I'm going to prove that it is. But yeah, as far as it is concerned, this is absolutely a book I would recommend, even though it has Riley Rosmo. Man, if only we could get a decent freaking artist on this, somebody who could draw noir, it would be so.
If only they gave Ivan Reyes, but he decided to leave DC.
Say again?
Ivan Reyes would have been great on that.
Yeah, but alas, that is what we have. Next up, and this is the reason why it took me a year and a half, by the way.
Because your niece is always over?
Yeah, I know, right? My niece is always hanging out, but I finally finished Marvel Universe Deluxe Edition of this talks about and tells about all the characters from the 1980s at least, and it is awesome. It's just a wealth of information. I went from page to page, character to character. I made it through this. I missed that era. Seriously, you go through the histories and it talks about what happened to the character from birth on up to, what was it, 1987? This one, 85, 6, around there. And it's just a lot of fun. And it will give you a sense of nostalgia. If you can find this, do so. Do yourself a favor. Pick it up. Read it.
Have you seen the 2023 update?
They're
just all blank pages.
Yeah, it includes toilet paper.
So the writer can just fill in whatever they want.
Yep. But that is one of the things that I thought was awesome about it is it gave the heroes limits. Spider-Man can only lift 10 tons, but now we see him lift a planet. Yeah, I'm exaggerating, of course, but yeah. But if you ever get a chance, whether through floppies or the omnibus or whatever, check out the official handbook of the Marvel Universe. Highly recommend that one. All righty. Next up, who we got? Jay, #1 best comic of the year.
Okay, well, this is going to be my #1 biggest impact of the year.
Okay.
So a couple months ago, I was at Half Price just picking up dollar books, and I stumbled across this Eternal Warrior set from Valiant, 90s Valiant right here.
Oh my God, you pierced a hole.
Issues 11 through 15 for $1, not each, altogether for $1. I'm like,
wow,
that up. So I read those, and that quickly turned into this.
So you've been making a collection.
Yeah, I'm going after a complete 90s Valiant run.
You got those all from E, right?
Everything.
No, actually, he's got very. Hey, look, I tried to sell Valiant. It did not move, so I stopped going after Valiant.
Yeah, I understand that. In fact, that Magnus, and these are not, unfortunately, Valiant is not worth a lot of money, which is one of the reasons I've been able to get them so, so quick. Now, that Magnus Robot Fighter #1, that's worth a little bit. Exo Zero right there, that's worth a little bit. But that I'm not in this for
and Harbinger #1 and Rye #1.
That's Harbinger #0, and that's Rye, I think #6 is where I got started on right there. But
did you get that one from me? Because I did have that one.
No, the only Valiant I've gotten from you, I think I got some. They haven't gotten in. Oh, whoops, they haven't gotten in yet.
Okay. So,
but I don't know if you've mailed them off yet. But I got Magnus, the first trade, and some Bloodshots and some Shadow Mans from you.
Okay, yeah, I did send. I had to send everything. I think I sent them Friday.
Oh, great! Then they'll be here.
The Christmas holidays. I was running around and I didn't have a lot of time to do shipping and such. I apologize, but yeah, that was it.
No problem. They'll be here.
All right. Eternal Warriors, the story of Eric Breen fighting to live another day.
All righty, Evil Black Cat, what is your #1 pick for the year?
It is Junkyard Joe.
All right, there you go.
And if you want the explanation to why, go watch the Geeky Puppet Show.
All right,
or just rewind this stream and watch Jay talk about it.
Yeah. Okay. So speaking of the Geeky Puppet Show, you're number one
live Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. Central. So, my number one for this year, and is a book that came from the Energon universe. It is Transformers. Transformers. Daniel Warren Johnson is just been phenomenal on this. We get humans that go splat. This is not your dad's Transformers, or maybe your grandpa's. But how young you are, I don't know. But it's just been fun from cover to cover. I think you're like issue 4 now, or about to be in issue 4. It has just been fun. Daniel Warren Johnson, who wrote Murder Falcon, which is a book that Zach, Ash, and I talked about on our Discord thing. We have a little book club we do for usually Discord chats. Skip Natasha was supposed to join us. He ended up getting sick. And of course, you know what happened. But because of that, reading that book that was recommended by Skip, I took a chance at Transformers. Because Transformers, I've seen it before through, I think it was IDW, and I just didn't care for it as much. It's just like, it's there. Okay. Seeing the crossover events, they tried to do with Ghostbusters, tried to appeal to me, and I said, like, nope, don't want it. Daniel Warren Johnson, I gave it a shot, and the guy is a phenomenal artist and storyteller. And the great thing is it's not, hey, look, it's Bumblebee. No, Bumblebee's dead in this, because as he should be, because Bumblebee's everywhere else. If you want to go watch, he's in every single freaking movie there is. He's even got his own movie. So it's great to see some of the other Transformers, Autobots, basically being getting their own role. So far, Megatron's not even in the book so far. They showed him lying on the floor. He hasn't been revived yet. So it's Starscream's in control. You know how that's going to happen with Starscream. He's overzealous. It has just been phenomenal. Minor spoiler, in one of the issues, Optimus Prime gets his arm damaged by a human who thinks they're all villains. Fires RPG at him, hits it, and he tears the arm up and he beats the shit out of Skywarp with his own arm.
Okay.
It is hardcore. And like I said, Eric, I know you're not the huge Transformers person. That's usually our buddy Tim Lim, who can school you on that stuff. I would check out this Transformers if you haven't done so. It is just fun.
All right.
I'm sure it is. It's just, it's just not my thing.
That's what I said.
That's the way it happens sometimes. Yeah.
I'm going to send you the trade when it comes out, Breen. I'm going to buy
They're going to force it on you.
Look, I had, Tim sent me, a hardcover of Common America. I've had someone send me a Power Rangers thing. It's just, I like them, just not enough to really get into them. It's because it's just not my field.
Let me get some
technology for him.
Let me get some comments here. Yes, RIP Skip. I had fun arguing with him in the chat. That's Rhaegar. I see now why he was like turning up the positivity to 11. Definitely enjoyed Jeremy Adams' Flash was from Tehillim. Maranya says, Skip was someone I aspired to be in terms of welcoming and positive. Let's see. Hello to MK talking about how the omnibus, the Marvel Universe omnibus, looks like a Bible. It is. It's one that Marvel has lost their religion and haven't read in a long fucking time, but it's a Bible. Spider-Man is strong. Okay, I get it. There used to be an old fighting game called Eternal Warriors. How's there now? Let's see. Do you have Harbinger Zero, Pink, the mail-in book? Oh, that's right. The wizard thing.
That was Eternal Champions, not Eternal Warriors.
Okay. All right. Getting to my my number one book of the year. It might actually be another one of those books where it's like nobody but me has heard of it, but it's called Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. It's a anthropomorphic, I can't say the word, animal book where you have this bear who is living in a small town. He's a serial killer, and he doesn't kill in town ever. And but there is somebody in town that is also a serial killer, and he's trying to find out who before the cops find him. They might actually attach it to him. So basically, this is Dexter, but told with cute and funny little animals.
Mm.
So take it that way. I promise you, this book is freaking amazing. It is just a lot of fun. It's not scary. It's like I said, it's Dexter, but damn, it's a good time. It really is. I'm gonna burn. Say again.
It's the bee's knees.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna burn through the rest of my my trades here that I've read over the last year.
They're not that bad.
Say again. Yeah, no, they're awesome. I'm counting these two as one. The story that movie, the Aquaman Lost Kingdom, was based on is these two right here, where we have the kidnapping of Mira and the death of the Aqua Baby. These two are some awesome freaking Bronze Age fun. Seriously. There is some dialogue here that's a little clunky and such like that, but overall, I had a blast with it. It's irreverent. It's just sometimes there's what should I call it? Bronze Age buffoonery in there as well. This is just an amazing story that when you're going through it, reminds you why you like comics. If you haven't read them, give them a try. It's I forget what the titles are. Death of the Prince. And this one is called Steve Skeets and Jim Aparo.
I'm pretty sure that I'm pretty sure Steve Skeets died this year too, or in 23 also.
Oh, this is the search
for Mira.
Yeah, I know. This is the search for Mira. This is the one where she gets kidnapped, and this is the one where the baby dies. And they do connect. They're not necessarily, obviously, you got them in two different, but the stories do connect. It's really, really good.
Which was pretty rare for DC back in those days, correct?
Yes and no. They tried in the late 60s. They brought over a couple people from Charlton, of all places. That's where they got Denny O'Neil, Dick Giordano, Jim Aparo, Steve Skeets. And some of the titles that no one cared about, they decided to put some effort into it. Like, Superman was always going to be, for 5-year-olds, reset at the end of every issue. Except for the 10 issues that Denny O'Neil did, but I digress. But they figured since nobody's paying attention to Aquaman, they'd let Steve Skeets tell a continuing story. And with Aparo on art, it was a lot. It didn't look like a DC book. It looked like it was more of a Marvel style.
I'm sold. I'm sold.
Okay, what am I on here?
Can I quickly answer? MK had a question, or you said something about Breen and Evil Black Cat being the comic book. If they did that, it'd be the reboot version of Kiss of Death, and Evil Black Cat would be tripping him like Tommy Udo, and he'd be going down the stairs.
You get the story right. He'd be pushing me down the stairs in a wheelchair.
Well, no, but he's a cat.
But you are in a wheelchair. Okay. About maybe 2 people are going to get that reference, by the way. Okay, so I just was interested in this story. I hadn't read it in probably a decade, 2 decades. Of course, the movie took over the story, and I was like, what really happened in the Infinity Gauntlet? So I went and I checked out. I'm surprised I do not have Thanos Quest, but this is badass, man. I get it. I used to say, look, you can't do the book with the movie characters because the movie characters aren't there, and people got mad because if they can't do it, then don't do it. I get it now. This should be an animated film, not a live action. They need to be able to do this the way they can.
What if?
Yeah. Or no, just put it out as a live or an animated movie, but the way the story's told with the cosmic characters coming in, there is universe destroying battles in here.
No,
this is epic comic book storytelling. I understand why people got mad at the movie. I love the movie, but I can understand because this is bigger. This is exactly why comic books need to be made. So you could tell stories on this scale. This is an epic. This is the 10 Commandments. This is the freaking greatest show, even though the movie wasn't great. But you get what I'm saying. It is so fucking awesome. And I was reminded of that this year. So it's really cool.
This is the MCU version is the 10 Commandments. This is the 15 Commandments. 5 of which we lost because Eric was too drunk.
Okay. Let's see. My number 4 book that I read this year from off the shelf is by Robert Venditti. And this is called Freedom Fighters, Rise of a Nation. And it starts off, the freedom fighters are destroyed by the Nazis. Cut to later where we have a new version of the team, and they are trying to get the American spirit back so Uncle Sam can rise up. He's the most powerful of all. He is his power is related to to the amount of American spirit people have, and it's just a great story. This came out what, 2 years ago, 3 years ago? You think?
I think that was 2019.
Yeah,
2019, 4 years.
Wow,
ago.
that long ago. Holy crap! But it's such great storytelling, and it's amazing.
He did
I
this,
love this one.
Kirk. He did this. Venditti did this before he did Hawkman.
Yeah, it is, and it's got some great artwork as well. Yeah. All right, my number 3 that I read off my shelf this year, and I really should do full reviews of this. The 12. Never read it, found it at Ollie's, was like, oh, okay, it's their golden age. So I checked it out. It's a great mystery story with exactly the same. I mean, this is Golden Age, by the way. Seriously, if you've read the Golden Age, the big villain, you'll know who's coming, you know, because you've read the Golden Age. But once again, it's got great art. It's got a great mystery story. It's got a whole bunch of characters you probably have never heard of, but it is still just fantastically entertaining. If you haven't read this one, once again, try to find a copy of either the hardcover or the soft cover or the floppies. Just absolutely fantabulous.
So that's the Golden Age, Human Torch, all that is in there. That's cool.
Well, it's actually more. Yeah, I know. That's why I'm rushing through these. All right. And then the number 2 that I read off the shelf is The Last Temptation of Alice Cooper. I was reading it, and I was separating the comics because I was going to do a Halloween video. I never got around to it. I will have it for next week. This one, I have, my daughter has my colored version of it. This is black and white, so it's awesome. But the number 1, and thankfully Eric's here to back me up on this one. The number 1 book I read off my shelf today, or this time around, I was able to get this book from the warehouse sale for 80% off the cover price. So it was only $4, the price of one comic. This is the best deal. It's called Archie, 1941. And it's basically in the real world, like what if they lived in the real world where people were being drafted and such and going off to war. And you basically have most of, if not all, the guys going off to war, and they come back, and how they had to deal with their memories, who died, who survived, so forth. So there's a lot of guilt as far as that. Say again?
A certain character did not come back.
Right. And the fact that Archie's dad was saying he's directionless, what you going to do, and he kind of pushes him into volunteering for the war. It's amazing. It is absolutely fantastic. If you can find this book, it is definitely worth the price of admission. So there you go.
Yep.
There you go. That's all you need to hear from Eric. Yep. Did you tag me? No, that's a feather. Good. All righty. But there you go. Those are the best comics of 2023, according to the crew here. If you guys want to keep going, you can. I got to go pick up Gail. You can come with, but I would, if y'all don't mind, wouldn't mind running through my worst list. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books that I consider the worst of 2023. Do y'all mind I do that before I take off?
Would Gail mind having to stand there?
What she doesn't know. Okay,
We'll
so
end up hurting you.
All right.
Wait,
yes.
is that Gail in the chat?
Yeah, I could do two things at once.
Yeah, Gail, he'll be there after he does the worst of.
I know, right?
Just stand there and have another cookie.
See, hey, I got to put shoes on anyway, so why don't I talk through these really quick?
Old man putting on his shoes.
Hey, I still got
30 minutes
before I have to leave. Actually, about a few more than that.
You
All
got
right.
a feather on your head.
Say again.
You got a feather on the back of your head.
Oh, do I?
Yeah, yeah.
See, now you ruined his night, Jay. He got excited. He thought it was hair.
Hey.
Well, we're gonna start
Really? We saw Jay, by the way. He doesn't have room to make those.
No, I don't.
I
No,
do.
That is the most weirdest version of Yankee Doodle I've ever seen. He skipped the hat part, just put the feather
I
in.
know, right? Hey, are you Italian or something? What's up with the full head of hair at 60? Come on, man. You're making the others look bad.
It's hair dye.
And I'm wearing my
ALOISE
present, the Slimer socks. All right, let's get into this. My number 7 worst comic book of the year is Gods. I only made it through the first issue, and I barely made it through the first issue. They have this thing's like 60 pages. And it tells a story. It sets up stuff. It's boring as fuck for 30 pages. And then one panel recaps everything. I was like,
I got one too.
what the hell?
I have one that may be on your list. I'm just gonna say Ultimate Invasion.
Ultimate Invasion? I haven't read that yet.
Don't unless you want more gods.
It's like, why are you showing us a story and then having one page catch you up with everything when you could have done the one page and it be a 30 page book? It was ridiculously stupid, but there were 6 worse. And this is how bad these are. And I read mostly DC, so you're going to get mostly DC comics on this. My number 6 is Wonder Woman. Now, I got to admit, I've only read the first 2 issues. I've only done 1 issue for the bad comic beatdowns. Got to fix that and get into this. But Wonder Woman's the villain. There is no moral stance you could put Wonder Woman on here where she comes off as anything other than the villain. It's absolutely a horrible way to tell a story. And I'm wondering, are you trying to get... why would you want any little girl to look up to this? Why would you want anyone to find these characteristics that they put into Wonder Woman with this comic to be something to aspire to? What happened to DC Comics? The two people in the DC universe that should always be inspirational is Superman and Wonder Woman.
Oh, pick me, Professor.
Okay, Eric.
Maybe it's because I'm just going to go out on a limb and say he doesn't have any kids.
And
I'm going to go out on another limb and say that his wife must be one hell of a ball buster.
They have kids.
No, Eric. He has kids. 1, 2. You know how obnoxious Wonder Woman's daughter was in that 80th, 800th? He based that off his daughter.
Oh.
I would say if you're writing Wonder Woman as a villain, it would work back in the time when women were kind of looked down upon, by bigots, And it doesn't have to be a whole feminist book. It just basically shows that there are some guys who are intimidated by a strong woman.
That's Tom King's fantasy.
Right.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But it doesn't fit today because women are not.
Tom King would have to.
Yeah,
have
we're used to strong women.
Go back to Alana Strange blowing the smoke in Batman's
I'm just
face
saying this concept that Tom King wants to do would work better if he's writing a book that takes place in the 60s.
It might just. I'll tell you what. Like I said, we are used to having strong women. Unfortunately, nowadays they're not just strong, but they're gay as all the time. So that's my number 5 worst comic book of the year, Hot Girl. And once again, I've only read the first issue. I need to get to these. I know, because they would make awesome bad comic beatdown episodes. But what I read of this was ridiculously bad. And the fact that, what was that character's name in this that took over? Galaxy. Holy crap.
First name Samsung.
What is wrong with these? what is wrong with these people? What is these? Who is this? I can't read the name. Who did this one?
Jazdia Axelrod,
Trans.
formerly Joe or something.
Okay, so it's a guy named Joe. All right. And this tells you how bad this year has been for comics. The next title is only what was 6, 5, 4, 3. This is number 3. This means there's 1, 2, 3. There's 3 worse than this. Seriously? There's 3 worse than this one.
At least one though.
There is 3 worse than Green Lantern, Alan Scott's Green Lantern. Oh my God, this is a bad year for DC.
Unless you've read the recent one, I think this should go up to number 1.
It might just, but in my number 1, I am offended by. This one, however, you should be offended. The way that they butchered his origin, the way they butcher the character. It is what are you? Are you really writing? It's not Green Lantern. It's not Alan Scott. We've been reading him for damn near 80, not literally, but we have 80 years worth of stories that say that this is not him.
As I said earlier, the best way to describe it is just if Alan Scott put his name next to the guy getting railed in the Senate office.
But I'll tell you what, maybe that was intimidating. Maybe the fact that you have 80 years of Green Lantern stories, so you don't want to go back and do your homework. But what if the character came out in the 70s and really hadn't had a lot of solo series to look back upon? And what would be your excuse to not look up who and what Power Girl was? This is another one. All of these could be just kind of bundled up into one big complaint: character assassination. They don't know who the characters are. They put themselves into it. So like the guy said, like I've said for 7 years now, it's all self-inserts. This is a disgusting example of it, but it's not the worst.
Speaking of self-inserts, as long as it's, keep the original personality, just do the Leah Williams self-insert with the boobs.
Go on ahead, Eric.
No, say that Weird Science did a parody song of the Beatles song "Girl on His Power Girl."
Yeah, who the hell is Paige?
Yeah, and they put a line there at the end. I was listening to it, and they're usually pretty good about this because they know people within DC and stuff. Apparently, Leah Williams did want to at least try on this, but DC said no. This is what we want.
Like I said, look at how she,
not that it would have been, Alan Moore left her own device, because I don't think she's a good writer, but it might have been a little bit better than this. And as for Tim Sheridan, I think this is, what if I were Alan Scott? And really the people that we call, bigots and Yahtzees don't really feel like this, but we've got to keep this illusion going. So we're going to say that everybody, even today, is still this, and they certainly were back then. And it's just,
I have a feeling if Leah Williams was allowed by editorial to write the way she wanted, it would have been Exterminators. Same here.
Yeah, maybe.
There are, by the way, for as bad as Power Girl is, in my opinion, 2 books were worse than this. And the next one, my number 2 worst comic of 2023, can be summed up in, I don't know if it's 1 or 2 words, but the word or words is cupcake. And that is the Supergirl special. You want to talk about character assassination. They made Supergirl an introvert. They made Supergirl a person who doubts herself, who looks upon everybody else. And by the way, I've noticed this since they're trying to make Jonathan Kent not Superboy, but Superman. Superman's recessed. Now they're trying to push Power Girl, so now they're making Supergirl recess in her personality. It's ridiculous. This book is offensive to Supergirl fans, or at least this one. It should have.
Every book for the last 16, 17 years has been an offense to Supergirl fans.
I would not say that. I would say the Loeb was pretty good.
The what?
The Jeff Loeb.
Yep, I agree.
I disagree because they basically ran Peter David out of town to do that, and it's not even close to as good as Peter David. So I don't agree.
But this is Supergirl. The other one wasn't
there,
Supergirl. It was.
And by the way, the reason we did a bad comic beatdown on this channel of Power Girl. We did a bad comic beatdown of Alan Scott 1 and 2. So check those out, as well as Wonder Woman. I did a review of the Gods on From the Long Box, and we did a bad comic beatdown of the Supergirl special. So please check those out for details on why these are the worst comics of the year. But they're not the worst comic book of the year. And for the worst, I will ask one question to Eric, who has also been reading comics now for 50-something years.
No, I've never seen Ma Kent drunk at a drag show.
There you go. Have you ever read anything that would tell you that that's what she would do in an afternoon Sunday brunch? I would have to say no. And yet, Fire and Ice had that scene. They had that. This is horrible on a new fucking level. What's incredibly horrible about this is the fact that somebody in editorial, somebody above, whoever is at the fucking top, said, okay, sure, let's do that. Let's do this. Is the story we need to put out. Why does this need to be told? Why does this exist?
It'll piss off people like us. It's publishing out of spite. And nobody can tell me that I'm wrong about that.
I'll tell you this. I don't know who it was. I know it was one of the regulars that watch this channel. They actually said to me, if I ever find that you have pirated or gone to a pirate site to read and do your videos or something, I'll unsub. Maybe that happened because Lord knows it seems, we know my channel.
I'll just say this.
But I will tell you this, because of the nature of these books, I have not bought any of them. I'm sorry, but I won't. I will never lay down $1 for Fire and Ice. You don't get my number.
I've never hit it on a Geeky Puppet Show that I pirate books first before I buy them.
It's just I don't care. This will get my ire. It will never get my money. And judging by the sales, nobody else is paying either.
Well, some people are that because the cover art. You had Terry Dotson there. You had Gary Frank on Power Girl, and and I know some people in the fossil circles bought Alan Scott because they had some cool covers.
Mm-hmm.
And I warned him. I said, just leave it there. Just bag it up, and because if you open the pages, you're going to be disappointed. Yeah,
this book, I swear, we read, or I did it. Did we do it as a bad comic beatdown live, or did we do it as did I do one myself? But I did a video on a title called "The Female Furies" by Cecil Castellucci, and in this book, they had Darkseid giving a bikini contest, a baking contest. This is worse. Go. Walk away. Go. This is my job. Go. Keep going. All right. But they actually up worse than this book. And I don't know. That's why I say Fire and Ice, absolutely not just the worst comic book of the year. This is the worst of the decade so far. I'm pretty sure it'll end up being the worst of the decade in 2030. It's definitely the worst of the century.
But I can promise you that Joanne Starner, whatever the hell her name is, will get another series.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Because this is what they want. Even the few good writers they let go on Twitter and say they'd rather see the industry burn than work with the wrong people.
Yeah.
That's it. I will. I use this in tongue in cheek for people I don't like. So the next thing I want to see after the words DC is survived by.
Yeah, that's about it. Hey, look, guys, those are my best. Those are my worst. If you guys want to continue, I'll be back in an hour. You muted yourself, Venk.
Yeah.
I'll be back in an hour if you'll, because it takes half an hour to get there, half an hour.
Before you go though, who's taking over DC when it dies?
Nobody. Mike Barron.
Skybound. I wish.
All righty, guys. But I have to go get Gail. Have fun.
It's McFarlane.
Don't burn the place down, please. And I'm taking.
Well, burn it down. Did you even monetize this?
Motherfucker.
I was gonna ask you about like 30 minutes ago, but I'm like, I'm just gonna let it go. He probably.
Hey, bring the kid back in. This one's on the house.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, Cat just made a good point about McFarlane buying DC. I'd be all about that.
Well, he's proven with Scorch. He's letting other people write it, and it's better than him, and it sells.
And he cares. You know, he cares about the whole thing. So
he
knows
that he's not a writer. He's not gonna let his ego get the better. Like, he'd rather be the businessman handling everything.
True,
right.
and
then the artist doing some art every now and then.
Like I said, if he was running DC, not only because he's already got the toy lineup he's been doing for DC, and he's been excelling at that, he could incorporate more comic books and sell more toys. Honestly, having him in charge of DC comic books, he could focus on. I mean, having the toy lines match up with the comic book series, that would be great.
Well, like any smart businessman, he would hire the right people and put them in the right places. Yeah, so absolutely.
He's got Steven Segovia is doing the art for the Scorch. He's got Sean Lewis writing on it. I'm not sure who. I think Sean Lewis is also doing Gunslinger as well. I'm not sure. I still have to fact or check that. But yeah, I was looking at like as far as we were talking about like favorite books and stuff. You know, there's been a lot of minis. We've noticed that lately. Not books that are canceled. There's books that were only meant to go 6 or 12 issues. And I was just trying to narrow it down myself. I was like, what is my favorite mini of the year? Until I realized there only is one mini year. And it is Eric's probably #1 book of the year that he's read. Enfield Gang Massacre.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
That has been just out of nowhere. And that's from That Texas Blood. Makes me really want to go back and read That Texas Blood. Because if it's anything like this, then I want to enjoy it.
Well, it's set in the present, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. But this is based off a real life event, but it's supposed to be a different version, the real version that happened of this whole thing, because everything in the one that's out there, the official one, says that Enfield was responsible. He was the murderer, and they're kind of going the different route, saying that he was framed. There's only 6. I think there's only 6 issues, right?
Yeah, I think there's 1 to go.
1 to go. And it's just been fun. If you love spaghetti westerns, you know, just like stuff like Hell on Wheels or any of the Outlaw Josie Wales, you know, just like it's just fun.
Yeah, get that, read that, and then go back and find a hardcover that Brubaker wrote called Pulp.
Mm-hmm.
And I said that's as good as it gets. Yeah, I'd say you're right, Venk. That's probably my book of the year.
I've never heard you say anything
of books that one that wasn't a Brubaker one shot. And Lord of the Jungle's right up there.
Mm-hmm.
That was fantastic.
That was another limited run series, only went for 12 issues, I believe. Yeah, exactly. There's you read a few books here and there, but I never heard you talk about Enfield Gang Massacre other than because usually it's like, oh, did you read the new Brubaker book? You read the Brubaker book? And it's like, this is Brubaker Jr. Chris Condon.
Yeah, Joe told me he's written some other stuff. I forgot what they were, but he's definitely found it, and it definitely studies how Brubaker does things. And like I said, Philip's kid is going to be a superstar. It's well worth it.
Yeah, phenomenal art. When I first read the first issue, I was like, art's kind of weird, but then it just kind of just fit the story. But yeah, I want more westerns. That's what I want. Good westerns, not. I want actual authentic westerns, not where we're diverse. None of that bullshit.
All right. I want our boy Jonah Hex to be brought back properly.
With no diversity.
Yeah. None.
Well, our host who just left has something he likes to say called "Be careful what you wish for." I don't want to see Jonah Hex in this current iteration of DC.
True.
It would be
absolutely.
honestly, I don't think DC has any love for the character Weaver at all. Big respect for him. He had a big run in the 70s, and I think that's pretty much the it that you're going to see of him. He came somewhat in New 52.
The Palamani run was really good in 2000s.
But that'll tell you how far we've fallen in just this century. There was an all-star Western New 52 that was very good. That's less than 15 years ago. Now you couldn't even get a pitch meeting if you tried to use Jonah Hex or Scalp Hunter. Or, that's why you saw Cinnamon in Superman, because that's safe. Nightwing is safe.
What's up, Jackson? Saying this is the line you guys want to go.
Can you imagine?
This I love comics, not Geeky Puppet Show.
Can you imagine if they had gotten that Jonah Hex movie right and it had been popular?
And wasn't
that would have put him in a quandary?
Was that Josh Brolin?
Yes.
Oh, it's crazy.
Why are they doing the halftime show and nobody's in the stands?
Can you like not have ADD and talk about sports in the middle of a sentence?
No,
Squirrel.
Oh, they're at the Michigan game.
We got.
My bad.
I understand, but we already have one, Eric. We don't need another.
No, I like Jay. He's a less opinionated LK.
And he doesn't say after every sentence.
You're right. We're kidding, LK.
I know what you mean. Hey, Breen, did you hear about this? No.
I tell you what, man.
Black Cat, I gotta tell you real quick. In LK's defense, if you listen to any of the early videos I made with Wes or some of the retrospectives, I was guilty of that too. It was every other word. It's just something that you get past the more you do this.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. If you follow LK on Twitter, he is a badass going after the nut jobs, man. Because he obviously he's a smart dude. He has lawyer speaking. He gets his points out real fast, real articulate, and he's pretty vicious. It's fun to watch him.
No, I've knowledge. LK is smarter than I will ever be, but that doesn't mean I won't give him shit.
Ooh. So you're asking, which is more enjoyable, Carnage or Jonah Hex? Jonah Hex movie. You had a hot Megan Fox back in the day. I don't know what she is now.
Yeah, no, the casting was fine. Josh Brolin was perfect, but I just wish making him the supernatural and talk to dead people or
it was one bad idea from being Wild Wild West with Will Smith.
Yeah.
It wasn't
another
serious.
Giant spider.
So if they brought back, honestly, they brought back Jonah Hex today, it'd be Django Unchained. They'd race swap him. I guarantee it.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
Because
they couldn't race swap him because of his uniform.
No. He's not. No, they're gonna race swap him, but he's not gonna be Confederate. He's gonna be a slave going against it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, you can't. What's the point of doing Jonah Hex if you can't use the flag? You can't mention the Confederacy.
Right. Well, he'll be an escaped slave who ended up fighting for the Union.
Well, no. Indentured servant going against the governors.
Yeah,
that's right. and Jackson, it hasn't gone too long until I go, dear God, this is still going.
That's if you want to see that at least 5 times, watch the Mickey Mouse reading we did on the Geeky Puppet Show.
Best 3 hours on YouTube.
It is the point where I almost died.
It doesn't involve OnlyFans girls.
It's Mickey and Minnie and I was gonna say Bluto, but no, it's Peg Leg Pete. Fun. And even the guy, the senior, I guess not editor, but he was in charge of the restoration of Fantagraphics because that book came out in 2018. Actually commented down below and said like, "Holy shit, you guys actually did the whole entire thing." As far as like, actually, that's only the first story.
That's really cool. How many views are you up to now on that?
I have to check. I mean, the last I checked was like 330 something.
Wow.
I think. But I think the reason it also blew up because of the fact we did it like not even 2 days before the Steamboat Willie controversy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that really helped boost it. But let me see here. For that is at 406.
Nice.
If you think about it, going back, that is a beautifully restored story.
1930.
Yeah, that's
and to confuse anybody, it's comics book strips they did.
Yeah.
Pieced together. So 107. It's like 107 pages. So fun. It's a fun story. Lighthearted. It's enjoyable for kids. We even got some French and some Irish versions of Mickey Mouse, in there too.
And there's so much detail in those panels. There's so much work went into that.
Well, like I said, I like the fact that there really wasn't any narration. The narration you saw was a recap.
Yeah, just recaps, which you had to do because you like each week, say if somebody, I guess, didn't get the Sunday papers or something. I'm assuming they were from newspaper strips.
I imagine they are because they do have the comic book strips in a separate volume. Yeah. So Fantagraphics, great publisher, has a lot of cool stuff. Check them out. And if you have Comixology like they have of the Kindle versions, you can read them too. But I recommend, if you can, try to find the physical prints. Hopefully they're not too expensive. They're retail at around like $20-$50, I think, somewhere on there.
There's a little difference between 20 and 50.
Well, it's under $100, so it's in my range. Like I said, I'm not going there spending $300 on a floppy.
Oh God! Speaking of things did you guys see? Have you seen the TASHN Marvel books that have come out? They've done. They're on their second Spider-Man volume.
Oh, the mangas?
No. They're. Remember those Marvel and DC books that I showed in my room tour video that I could barely hold up? They were so heavy. I mean, they're literally like 20 pounds, and they're like very oversized. They're like that big, like that. But they did one they're doing them for Amazing Spider-Man. It has all of the original ads, front and back covers, and I mean it's $175 for about 15 issues, so it's pricey as hell. But holy crap, are those beautiful!
We were talking about like some of the cool purchases. I got this year.
That's TASHN.
That's it. That is TASHN. Yeah. See.
Yeah. They do the best work in the hobby, hands down.
Yep.
There's an EC book that I would love to get, but I haven't found it for under 200 yet.
Hey Vink, check your DMs on Twitter when you get a chance.
I don't want to see those kind of videos.
No, it's not.
Twitter. Then it's called X.
X.
Adam, sorry. Wow.
Did you just call me by my real name?
That's your real name? That's kind of cool. Because now every time I see you, I go, Adam.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Why'd you turn on our scumbag? Adam.
Let's see. What do you got? What do you send me? I told you, no crotch shots. What the hell?
I can't help myself, man.
Man loses his leg at Dallas intersection. Oh,
the one below that. Yeah, no, that one's messed up. Like this truck rams into him, and it took his leg off, and he's like, I guess he's a little bit in shock, and his adrenaline's going, but he's just hopping around on one leg. But that's not what I was.
No. I'll get it, and I'll share it. But
I want to see the one-legged dude hopping around.
I'll send it to you.
There's things we can't share in Sportsville because we know some people will be offended by it. So we share some videos that are a little bit more R-rated. Let's see here. And go on there. But yeah, so Eric, you read quite a few books this year. What do you think is the most you spent as far as publishers, like on? When it comes to like
DC.
DC.
Yeah.
It's weird. I never was a big DC person, and then all of a sudden, when Jeremy was to go over Flash, all of a sudden, like it just all these random DC books are popping up.
Yeah, one Slick. That is what I'm talking about. I think Grant Grisman. He's a guy. He's a jazz artist and an EC historian, but I think he put it together.
Wasn't the guy that started EC the father of the guy who started Mad?
The William Gaines' father had EC when it was called Entertaining Comics. He was more based like children's books and the Bible.
All right.
And he was killed in a boating accident. His son basically didn't want anything to do with it. The company was in debt, and then a couple of people who were working for him tried something different, and the rest was history. And that's
all right. So,
cool.
All right. So I got what he's going to show. This is what he wanted to talk about. A lot of people on there that this kind of one of
to
these
the left of James Gunn. James Gunn's left. There's our guy, guys.
Oh yeah.
The future of the DCU movie universe, right there. So, how long before we get the Heroes in Crisis movie?
Well, James Gunn is going to go down. That decision is going to go down as the worst signing in the history of anything, because he already cost them hundreds of millions on the last 5 movies by saying they don't count, and bring in Tom King. Like I said, I don't get it.
I don't want to be someone who hates on books that or stuff that hasn't come out yet, but I said there's a lot of red flags. There's a lot of red flags. Tom King being involved, anything Superman and Batman is a huge red flag. Now that you're overstuffing the cast. We got Guy Gardner, and then we got pretty much the Justice League International, plus Superman Legacy, and it's supposed to be Superman not when he started, but like a year or two into his then career. It just feels like Batman versus Superman.
Yeah,
and then you had Tom King.
We don't know if they're going to be there for a long time, or they're just cameos.
Well, that's the thing. If they're not cameos, that's worse. But but even then, I don't want cameos. That's like Ghostbusters 2016 and having the guys cameo and like, hey, there's the one people we want.
Right, but we're not even the characters from the original.
It is supposed to set up a shared universe. So like,
so it's JC Justice League.
Yeah, what if they just show up like in Batman v Superman? You have that one email where the other League members are there, something like that. Or what if they're just on the news?
It should be.
Oh, that'd be so lame.
You know what it's going to be like? It's going to be like Deadpool. All the X-Men are hiding from him in one room.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's a huge red flag when Tom King's involved. And then he also? I guess we also know that James Gunn likes All-Star Superman, which to me I'm not a fan of. I understand some people like that.
If we're going to get a Superman movie, can we just have a Superman movie? Not one where he's dying, not one where he's a deadbeat dad. Just give me an upbeat Superman.
Can I? Yeah. But yeah, I just want Superman. That's all I want. So, and what I everybody knows, Superman and Lois has been a fantastic show. It's ending this year, and after that, all we got to look forward to is James Gunn's Superman Legacy.
I want to walk out of Superman Legacy feeling really good about everything. That's because that's what a Superman movie should make you feel like. To put a pep in your step, give you hope.
What if Superman Legacy turns out to be it's the birth of John Kent and he's active?
What if it's all about? What if the main character? What if the main character ends up being Martha?
It's Jonathan.
She goes to drag shows.
It's Jonathan Kent's Legacy.
Yeah, he passes the torch over to him, and then John Kent's the leader of Justice League International for the next movie.
Oh my gosh! But like I said, this movie has a lot of red flags on it. I'm still looking forward to watching Aquaman 2. I just hope that it's not bad because they decided to cut out all Amber Heard scenes and not fix the story and just be like, there's gaps in the story. Like, I just honestly
No, there's ton of her. There's a little bit of her in there, like not a lot.
But my thing is, it might be a little bit of her. Is that what was originally in there, or did they cut a lot out and they just
didn't they put her into a coma like early on in the movie? And then
no, she gets injured, and then the later parts you don't notice because it is
spoilers, guys.
Oh, spoilers for a movie nobody has seen, right?
I'm going to watch it.
I'm sorry, dude.
It's mostly about Aquaman and Orm hanging out.
Yeah,
that actually interests me.
Why Amber Heard? Yeah, she's a garbage person, but her problems are with one guy.
Yeah,
Ezra Miller kidnapped people, assaulted people, did way worse than she did. And I realize it's a lot harder to cut the Flash out of a Flash movie, but why cut Amber Heard's part? Because most of the country and most of the people that saw that first movie couldn't have cared less if she'd have been in it full throttle in the second one.
Yeah, like the amount that they took off of her, it does not make a difference because she's in the final fight. She's in the second to last final fight. She's just not there in the middle where it's just Aquaman and Orm.
Yeah, I said it's just.
And was that pretty good stuff? I heard that was actually pretty good. The Aquaman and Orm stuff.
There are some humor that doesn't work out, but you can it's dry. It's like the humor is like it would be funny if it wasn't overdone 10 years ago.
Right.
Like this isn't a spoiler. No, this isn't a spoiler because this was already out before in the trailers. It's that time where I thought the joke didn't land is Aquaman, Orm trying to attack Black Manta, and Black Manta just punching him back.
Now, Rhaegar's friend said, unpopular opinion, Jonathan Majors should still be Kang. Given what he did, I could see why they did it. Because again, he apparently hit a woman and then went back and hit her again after she tried to get out of the car. Whereas, like I said, Amber Heard, that was, I don't know. I don't know if there's a distinction there, but to me, there kind of is. But, I personally, I don't care if he still wants to be Kang. I'm done with Marvel movies anyway. So it's.
I honestly, like I said, I just want Will Smith to be either take over as the Doctor Who guy or as Kang. Let the guy have something other than just being like his wife's bitch.
Yeah,
he needs a
win. Well, he's done a lot of virtue signaling lately, so I who cares about him either.
What comic book movies are on slate for this year?
This year, Deadpool 3.
Right, that one.
And then I think there's Eternals 2. I can't remember.
They're making another Eternals.
Eternity, it's called now.
There's Deadpool 2. Joker 2.
Nope, don't care.
The Joker 2, the musical.
Yeah, don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the Spider Thing movie with that chick that has her boobs out in that other show that no one cares about.
Oh yeah, Madam Web.
Madam Web, yeah. That's I see. The only reason I remember is the Deadpool 3 because the other ones were just horrible. That's why I forgot them. But yeah, that's another movie that could kind of mess up too. At least it looks like from previews. It's the concept of going. Madam Web should be looking like freaking Aunt May. Old, decrepit.
Yeah. I think Venom 3 is supposed to come out.
That was another one too.
Basically, it's just Sony in their last death throes.
Craven, the Craven movie, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, Craven the Last Hunter. But I don't know which ones. There was a few that got pushed back because of the whole writer strike. So some of them are actually 2025. But I'm trying to think. It's like as far as comic book movies, Deadpool 3. See what goes on with that. If it all comes down to if we get to see Wolverine with his mask on. Hugh Jackman actually puts a freaking mask on and doesn't do half-asses. Oh, I got the costume on, but not the mask. I want that, and then Ghostbusters Afterlife. That's not well, technically it gets comic book because there hasn't been comic books for it, but as far as movies go,
let's say some real quick. Yeah, one slick. That's true. But again, that was a one versus one case, and someone had the juice to make those charges against Ezra Miller go away. That doesn't mean they didn't happen. And to me, he's at the time, apparently he's, trying to turn his life around. I think he was a much more, much more of a terrible person. And I think a lot of people didn't know about that also. But again, I mean, like I said, either way.
The thing is, Ezra didn't lie and use his hide from the thing and use his thing to be like, I'm the victim, while Amber played herself out to the victim and became the UN.
But Ezra couldn't lie because so much of it was on, they had footage of it.
While Amber decided to lie about it for clout and then became the UN spokesman for spokeswoman for abused women.
I want to point out that Ezra Miller was hated by Snyder fans. That's how much he was hated.
Either use them both or neither.
Right.
Equal application. And they elected to, and it's odd that they stuck by the man in this case in the era of believe all women. But
because it was just so evident she was full of it, I mean, they couldn't.
No, actually, Undead Quinn just summed it up perfectly.
Well, believe all women unless she's being choked by Ezra Miller.
or accuses a politician of a certain letter.
Also, I think it came out that Momoa hated her guts as well, and he's the star of Aquaman.
Yeah.
I just want to point out.
Different.
Well, he's buddies with Johnny Depp.
I know we're talking about this, but for those who are actually interested about the best and worst comic books of the year and stuff,
go watch the Geeky Puppet Show.
No. If you haven't wanted, like I said, we started the Geeky Puppet Show. Now we're here, and I'll be continuing this conversation in about 15 minutes over on Ash on Comics.
Yeah. Started at the bottom, and then we dug deeper.
You're doing a trilogy.
So you get to hear Zach's hot take, and then what Ash didn't like.
Well, I realized that I just said it's hard to cut the Flash out of a movie called The Flash. But like I said, I'm saying I guess I probably wouldn't have cut Amber Heard's scenes out of there either.
I wouldn't have cut hers out, and I would just recast Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller never looked like the Flash.
Well, going forward,
he would have been a great Joker. He looks like the Joker, but that's neither here nor there.
You know what I would have made him? I would have made him Reverse Flash.
I could see that.
And then having an actual better actor. You know what I would have
don't like him.
I would have had what's his name? Justin or Grant Gustin.
Grant Gustin. I didn't like Ezra Miller before all this crap started. I go, okay. And call me a traditionalist, but if you're going to do Barry Allen, I want a blonde hair, blue eye. I understand Grant Gustin was a blonde hair, blue eye, but just get something closer to that. I mean, they basically wanted that version of Barry to be their Peter Parker, their Spider-Man, which is it makes me so mad. Just be true to the characters.
As bad as CW Flash was, Grant Gustin actually had the figure of, or at least the stance.
He did, and he had the composure of a Barry Allen too.
Yeah.
And
with the hair thing that he offered to dye blonde, but the producer said we were going to do this show for a long time. If you dye it that much, you're going to lose your hair.
So why didn't?
That's cool. That's cool.
He could have just wore a wig.
Yeah, people
because he's also wearing a mask, so like every scene he's taking off the mask, he has to take off a wig, touch it up.
Well, no, because
they could have CGI'd it in.
Well, no, the mask was CGI'd. It was never,
No, that was an actual mask.
No, but when he takes it off, he touches the button and it materializes.
No, those were the later seasons. The original seasons, he actually had to wear.
I understand that, but I'm just saying that's how lazy they got.
Yeah,
I always felt like the Flash was Wall-E with the name Barry. His
That-
personality. is
that's
closer to
because
Wally.
that's because after like them bringing him back, they realized that the old Barry didn't have much of a personality because they were doing a guy in his 30s and the 60s, but guy in his 30s now
I
sound more like
There's
a
a
guy
reason
in
why
20s,
Wally's a better
something like that.
Flash.
90s Flash will always be my favorite Flash. When I'm talking about the TV
That was a
show.
perfect throw.
Yeah, that was a hell of a throw. This defense is at a premium tonight.
Yeah.
All right, Hollywood is
Sorry.
trash. We know that. No, but yeah. I mean, like I said, as far as worst comics, like I know comic books that look bad. I avoided them, but I don't read them because that's worst of all. I'm approaching 40, so I only have so much time left.
Right. Well, somebody who's a few years older than you, I understand because I do the same thing with comics and with TV. And movies. I am not going to go into it unless I feel comfortable and confident. I'm going to enjoy it to some significant degree.
I'm not going to start something unless I'm relatively assured that I'm going to live long enough to finish it. That's why I just watch. That's why I just watch commercials.
That's why he's on the Geeky Puppet Show Friday nights and Sundays.
That's why he orders takeout instead of cooking it for himself.
And see, now I think my self-deprecating humor was better than that one.
But having that attitude, I had 2023 for me was a great year.
I'm glad you added humor on the end of that. What you said, self-deprecating. Depends, I guess. But
well, I'm sure that worked. I'm sure that was similar for you too, Venkman. The most of the stuff you enjoyed hobby-wise was it was great.
I've always been that way since I was a kid. I was like, it's 3 seconds into a cartoon, I'm like, all right, change channel.
Yeah.
I or sorry, click, 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 click.
Yeah.
I grew up with I in the early 90s. I had
if I had that thing that what was it that Adam Sandler had where he could just fast forward you through?
Yeah,
something.
click. Yeah,
click. No, I had those. I had I had a black and white TV growing up for me until about mid to late 90s.
UHF. Get all the way to your side.
I can remember having to pay extra to get a channel changer on a cord that would come out of the TV and stretch across the room so we could sit on the couch and change the channels. And Mom said no because the cord made her nervous.
Get ruined. Well,
so it was a cordless or cord controller. Okay.
Oh, it was like 1981 or 2.
We had one of those floor to ceiling antennas inside, and you'd go, and you just twist it. That was a big metal rod. Yeah. You're probably the first person I know that had one.
Before cable, we had aluminum foil we would put on the antennas, and they would send me over there to hold it until a commercial so you could watch the rest of the show. My dad.
You know it was really tough sitting around an empty room waiting for someone to invent television.
Yeah, what was it like?
Listen to radio. Fibber, McGee, and Molly was your jam, wasn't
it? Brain, what was it like waiting for someone to invent fire?
Cold.
Yeah, cold.
And dark.
And dark. A lot more peaceful, but yeah, cold and dark.
Breen, what was it like in Eden?
And why did you get us kicked out, man?
Don't blame me. Blame that dick Adam.
Oh, yeah.
Adam!
Wait. Did you repeat the question? What did you say? What was it like being in Eden?
Yeah.
Oh, he knew Barbara?
Oh, I'd take that ball and run with it, Eric. I'd do it.
Can I go back to like the Barbara Eden that made that movie with Pat Boone in the late 50s? Because she was pretty much through Harper Valley PTA. What a 20-year window.
Banging two rocks together. That's kind of what's going on at Marvel and DC right now.
You see, Jackson figures, yeah, he's 60, but he's still younger than me, so he thinks he's funny.
We found out. Yeah.
Just remember, you're going to be. It might be a year after me, but you're going to be in one of those homes that the only channel they have is CBS.
Yeah, Jackson joined us last night for our stream on the Geeky Puppet Show for the years, and I swear to God, he sounds like Powers Booth.
Yeah, putting an NCIS.
Yep, that's the first thing in my mind.
That show?
What's that?
Does he hate that show?
No, I'm saying it's that's the old folks' home. Putting an NCIS.
Or if you're lucky, no, imagine you're almost in a vegetable state and you're forced to listen to CSI. You didn't get the pudding. The nurse eats the pudding in front of you.
Oh, Texas fumbled.
You're not gonna take that. Son of a bitch. Oh man.
Well, I'm on my way to being 0 for 2 in my picks. So it's, I will say this, Jay. This was the year that everybody said that Alabama wasn't as good as they usually are. Michigan's best team in the country, and it still took everything they had.
But to be fair, Michigan was trying. It looked like they were trying to blow that thing in the second half. Their receivers were dropping everything.
Oh yeah, well, but there's something I said, when you're playing somebody that always wins, you turn into the kid that realizes he's eating liver that spits it out.
Yeah,
because I said it's because Alabama lives in those games. Michigan had already lost 2 of them in a row.
Yeah,
and I said they got, I said, missing an extra point. I mean, they did everything to try to choke that away, but they were the better team. They just had enough to do it in a little bit more than 60 minutes.
Yep. Well, I feel for Alabama's quarterback because he put them on his shoulders today. Without him, they're not in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think Michigan beats either one of these teams easily.
I do too.
Dear God, they're doing a Kid Venom series.
What?
Marvel, a new thing is called Kid Venom Origins. Comes out this.
Oh my gosh, Kid Venom.
No, I got it real quick. One Slick. Yeah, she had problems with those too. That's why she always said it could use the one in the kitchen. She had a cord that would stretch just long enough where she could sit at the kitchen table and gossip. I said, dear lady, God rest her soul. She had quirks. Not Jimmy. She had quirks.
I was gonna say Jimmy. Oh man. I'm just looking to see what's coming out this year as far as comic books.
That sounds like a good time to check out and go make some dinner. So, watch the
or just check that period.
He can't. I need him for Thursday nights and readings.
You know what? I've felt like death for a good chunk of 2023. Then I realized I got to hang around to make Cat's life as miserable as I can.
Yes.
You don't want to abandon your cat.
No, I leave him out. He keeps coming back.
Well, somehow he got a key and he turns the handle. It's like Pepe Le Pew, the poor kid. You're the other poor cat, and Pepe Le Pew keeps coming towards your door.
But you guys going to keep going for a while? I mean, I might come back on if it.
I'm getting ready to jump off. I mean, if these two guys want to still keep going,
I think it's a good time to call it a night.
I think so.
Got Netflix to go watch. Finally, One Piece and all the good stuff we talked about last night on each stream. So
I gotta go rest my voice because I'm gonna be talking again about this stuff. I'm just gonna clip what I said on here and just push play on to the stream.
All right. Well, you guys have a good rest of the evening, and see you soon.
Later, guys.
Later.
Always click like and subscribe for this channel, and check out the Clip Show Tuesdays and Thursdays.
This is Old Man. We're in Old Man Comics. Click dislike and unsubscribe.
And subscribe.
And report a video.
Tuesdays and Thursdays on Geeky Puppet Show. We talk about the new comic books coming out each week, and we read all on Fridays and Sundays. Subscribe there, help us get to 500, and check out the RPGs on this station right here, this channel right here, Tuesday nights around 10:30 Eastern. And yeah, have a good time, guys. Later.
Later.
See ya.